To break a world record, it will take skills, dedication, determination, and hard work. And today, we're going to see how these two players broke the kill record in Counter-Strike 2, right after each other. We will dive into how they use utility, decision making, positioning, and how they abuse weaknesses, to understand how this even happened. DONK is the next superstar that Counter-Strike will have, and he cemented this with his insane kill record on Ancient after dropping 38 kills versus Wildcard. It's no secret DONK is not the greatest player when it comes to utility. HLTV gives him a rating of 33 out of 100 in that area of his game, but he might not throw advanced spawn throws, lineups and more, but he is very good at using easy utility to give him kills and win map control. Here we see DONK go for an early Molotov bottom mid thrown here, just to make sure the Molotov lands faster to make sure a push is less likely. And then he drops his nade, just so he will not die with it while being in middle. And then it's all about how he plays around it, with going into donut to hide from pop flashes and any pushes, and he will then wait until the smoke lands to use the Molotov wildcard through to his advantage, allowing him to jiggle middle and go into mid cubby without having to worry about any mid pushes. Then you can see how unaware Wildcard's first player out mid is, as he is found rather fast. But here is what I like. Being alone in mid is not common, so here DONK will line up this flash to pop in front of the smoke, and then wait for an early spam, as this is common for a player if he flashes him, since DONK got tagged down in his first fight, before peeking out to clear and win bottom mid control. DONK here again goes for default utility, but look how he is playing it after he's done throwing utility. DONK's plan for this round was to Molotov bottom middle, then nade it, and after not hearing anything in middle, he would use this pop flash to mid and go for the fight. But as soon as he's done throwing the Molotov and nade, he hears Wildcard already running out, and he ditches this idea and rather uses his advantage, being able to peek the enemy in middle and get the peeker's advantage. And here he finds one kill, walks back to donut to now flash and take more mid control.
As DONK continues to dominate.
Where DONK shines are in his decision making abilities, and we talked about some of it in the utility part. But now we will properly dive into this, and a key to take away is how fast his decision making is, yet it's very precise. Let's start here, where we will see DONK with the deagle, and I just wanted to break down in detail how he decides to play in middle with it. First of all, Spirit are on lower buy, and it's not a round they are expected to win, but DONK will still try. Let's bring up the minimap. When taking middle as a team on Ancient, there are some key areas you need to be aware of. Those are cave for the initial first look into middle, then after cave it will be cubby, as this is a very nice off angle the CTs loves to play from, and it's very safe, as we saw DONK enjoy to play. Then it's red room, as this is the strongest position in middle the CTs can play from. And lastly it's donut, as the last hurdle for you to take full mid control. Look on how DONK clears. His crosshair is in the wall. Why would this be so important? When DONK won Katowice in 2024 versus FaceClan, a lot of fans and players noticed DONK was abusing the peeker advantage. And that is DONK's playstyle. And when aiming here in the wall, he can set up these perfect peaks with the deagle to his advantage. When DONK starts to clear middle, you can see he is not worried about off angles, as these are unlikely, not impossible versus lower buys, as the CTs in these scenarios do not want to give away their guns to a lower buy. And this allows DONK to clear middle fast and effective, as he only needs to worry about the big 4 positions. As soon as DONK makes contact, he will be fast to move to the boxes, since on the long range, the deagle can actually be good. Only if you're able to get into cover, and that is what these boxes are providing for DONK. After DONK finds the first kill top middle, he is super fast to reposition away from the boxes, as they create a disadvantage from the cave player peeking, as DONK will be aiming for the legs, while the cave player pushing will only be aiming for his head, since that is how the math works when you peek someone who is above you. After this kill, DONK perfectly assesses that his next victim will come from red room, and here can find his third deagle kill of the round before his reign of terror in middle is ended. Weaknesses is something all teams and players has, and DONK loves abusing this. On his CT side, he was abusing this through his constant taking of middle with low amount of utility and winning mid over and over again. But we have some other examples from the T side so you can understand. DONK and Spirit early on realized wildcards were very passive on B, and here early yet slow and silent B takes was perfect for DONK. And here we can see he is able to just walk into B side with no players holding for him, and he is allowed to clear so much. All he needs is for Spirit to throw this simple nade for him, and DONK finds a long player. Then he holds cave, smokes it off, and then he takes the long fight and finds one more kill. A round winning entry, all since they realized how passive wildcards are on B sides. On DONK's CT side, he learned mid was a spot to abuse and bully wildcards up, so why would it not work on the T side? As we can see how fast and effective he will take bottom mid, making sure he is not crossing towards donut too early to rather focus on forcing any players away from red room first, and then he walks back after not seeing anyone. Since for the whole CT side of wildcards they loved over rotating, and this is why DONK falls back, since he knows he caused them to rotate, a massive weakness he can abuse. Position is the key for any players who want to be great, as aim can only get you so far. And let's see how amazing DONK is at this part of Counter-Strike. Here we can see DONK in middle, but he has positioned himself in an off angle. Not an amazing spot, but he knows he is facing a lower buy. And earlier I said how rare it can be to have an off angle versus a lower buy, while DONK wants to break that mold, as he is here all the way back, using this wall as a peeker wall. As we can see on his crosshair, his goal is to clear middle, always peeking into the fights and not getting peeked. It's a great way to have his trusted peeker advantage in these fights. And before every peek, he runs to the right and then left, and this is key, as if he were to just go left, he would not have enough speed to make these peeks as effective and fast. Here he stays in donut, and this does not look too fun and insightful. But it is, trust me. In multiple rounds, DONK has pushed middle, and a round like this is then perfect for him to do something else. And here we'll go and just hide in donut, and play so he can jiggle for mid and fall back if needed. And this type of position to understand when the enemy might try to counter you, and then counter that back, is key from DONK. Here again DONK goes to donut, but stays in the middle, as this is not where you want to clear when the T side goes fast up in middle, as the left and right side behind this stone thing in the middle of donut is more obvious spot to clear, making it so wildcards crosshairs are off placed and allowing DONK in a bad yet good spot to find 3 fast kills early. After the third kill, DONK will push towards middle, and his cover now is blown to reposition and hopefully catch more wildcard players off guard. While making this video, Poiii from Eyeballers broke the record from DONK, so I decided to just add him here and we can learn from him as well. But something I wanted to add is that Poiii is not a star player like DONK is. Poii's rating is a 1.05 overall for the last 6 months, so let's see how he did this. Again, I will start with utility, just to show you all how utility can make you have an amazing game. Just want to show you all how simple some of the utility he uses is to win water control. In the start of the round, he will be going to A and help, and here we'll line up this Molotov first to hit carpet, as the flashes he throws will not cover that, and this will force any carpet players to either fall back or make sounds dropping into the water below. And then he will use these flashes, as these are lined up to flash above A main so his teammate will not be blinded, but any players in water from the T side will. And these are much simpler than the ones I throw from middle that looks like this. And he ends it by nading carpet again. At this point, the Molotov has stopped to burn, so it's a way to set up some easy damage early on. And we are still seeing the pattern of these simple utility. Here we can see how you can use utility to get yourself some kills. Here Poiii will use this Molotov right here as a fake smoke, as it is thrown close enough for him to allow him to not get pushed into water, and it is harder for the water players far back and close to see him. And he can collect 1 kill here super safe, as well as he has a teammate flashing for him to find his kill. I know we're not talking about positioning, but keep this in mind. He is fast with the swing to allow himself to get on the right side of connector to make sure if a player is further back, he can't easily trade him. Again, we are seeing Poiii use utility to set his teammate up with this amazing Molotov in middle combined with a smoke here, and then later a great flash to take A main and a Molotov towards camera. A key to all players are their decision making and how and why they do what they do. On DONK we broke down one round where with Poiii I want to look into all the times we see him have some great reads. Here we can see as the B anchor. He can't hear anything, and instead of falling back or staying, he rather pushes fast and early to make sure the lurk has a purpose. As Anubis is one of the hardest maps to play as the lurker, as all this water will make sound, and you can see how slowly he clears until he understands it's a take, and will only then start to run until his walk detector is close enough to the enemy so they can hear him, and then he will start to shift walk again, and he does a great job.
Great insurgents as well here, and speaking of that Glock, it's all left the Poiii. Oh my goodness, Poiii.
Here, after it starts to look like it will not be B, we will see Poiii walk back and take this spot here towards spawn, and this has a lot of advantages. And this could go under the position part, but let's rather show the thinking of it. His rotation is fast and effective, but as mid is weak, he do not want to give up on mid and B yet. And why he places himself here on the edge, as this gives you a great off angle, where you will force the T's to do a 50-50 guess of where he might be, as well as on the edge, you're not as easy to be peeked, since you can fall off easily, but your head is elevated, so in the 1v1 here, you will have the advantage. And this is a spot that will allow him to rotate and back to B easily. Pistol rounds are always fun, and here it's all about abusing your enemy's pistol's weakness. And in the Glock versus USPS, the weakness is how bad the USPS can be if they can't find a headshot fast. And here Poiii will be jumping like a maniac, well, maybe not a good word to use at this time, to take mid, and he keep his head low to make sure the CTs can't kill him easily. And we can see him jump spotting on every peak, as well as when walking out from temple to site. He will pre-aim this spot right here just in case somebody's there, before he starts to focus on the player he is chasing. And no matter where he might be attacked from, he will always do some sort of movement to set off the crosshair placement of the enemies, and here he finds 3 kills. Early on, Poiii throws this alert smoke in water, and then after winning water, he will abuse his own smoke and just walk through it. This tells you a lot, as he is not afraid of what can happen, and here it's just insanely confident. And then after the kill, he will just fall back, since he knows he has created some rotations for the CTs. Again, we are seeing players like Poiii make effective and fast decisions in moments that matters. Last part is his positioning, and let me tell you this, it's amazing. It's the reason I gave you all a sneak peek earlier of this. It's the second round and Poiii bought an M4, and here he decides to play all the way back, as with the upgraded gun, he do not want to close it, and why he positioned himself in the off angle here, allowing him to hold main, dodge flashes, and hide long enough for any pushes towards him so his teammate can rotate in and help. It just shows you that a detail like this is crucial for anyone to know and understand. Water is a risky place to play from, and it's weak to rushes, ops and more, but I love what Poiii is doing right here. Here he is playing in this off angle, allowing him to make sure any T speaking will have disadvantage, as well as he can easily fall back, as he is able to spot any players coming water and pushing him faster than if he were playing on left corner. Here that is more common. This boost was new to me, but it reminds me a lot of the vertigo boost Astralis used to go, as they have the same idea. When boosting here, you will see Poiii have a lot of stuff covering his face, so if a T peeks, he will likely not be able to one-shot kill him with an AK, while for Poiii, he has a clear vision towards A main, and can actually hit the one-shot kill with the AK, giving him quite the advantage. Just like the vertigo boost from Astralis I mentioned, where they would use this pole as a headshot one-kill prevention. Here, look how Poiii holds A main, but from this pillar, making it so the bridge and water player can't see him, giving him an off angle towards A main, and a way for him to peek out and find some kills towards B or middle. When he hears the player drop to water, it's a free kill, and that is the power of having a good understanding of positioning. Last position masterclass I wanted to talk about is how on the execute Poiii will go to pizza here, since the smokes are up and allowing him for better cover towards the water fight. And if he wants to fight the player in water, if there are anyone there, this rock will help him with that, since it will give him more cover and a safer spot to play from. And these small adjustments are something every player can benefit from, just like Poiii. Well, that was my breakdown of 2 world records that were set 8 days apart. Here are 2 videos you told me you would like. Bye.